What's up guys, Juan here from Android Authority, and we're taking a quick look at last year's S7 Edge and comparing it to the newly announced Galaxy S8 Plus. The Edge moniker is gone because both versions of the S8 this year have curved edge screens, but the S8 Plus would more or less be the direct successor to the S7 Edge. It's an evolutionary upgrade, but it's another step forward in Samsung's approach to reaching that bezel-less future that we all dream about. The bezels on the S8 Plus are dramatically thinner than the S7 Edge, which makes way for an even larger 6.2-inch screen over the 5.5-inch of the S7 Edge. These shrunken down bezels allows the screen to truly be the center of attention, and it looks absolutely stunning. This also means no more Samsung logo in the front, and because there's more screen, Samsung's longtime signature home button and capacitive keys have been swapped out for on-screen keys. With the home button gone, the fingerprint sensor has been moved to the back, but instead of sitting squarely in the middle below the camera, where we normally see rear-facing fingerprint sensors, it sits awkwardly to the side of the camera, which at the moment doesn't feel quite as friendly. It's definitely going to take some getting used to, but in addition to that, the S8 Plus brings back the iris scanner for an alternate way of unlocking the phone. The S8 Plus's design picks up right where the S7 Edge left off. You still have a metal frame with front and rear glass panels, and while the S7 Edge is still a very sleek device, the S8 Plus refines the design even further with a more rounded and curvier body. It's incredible how smooth and comfortable it feels, and it certainly doesn't feel as big in the hand as you initially might think from a phone with a 6.2-inch screen. The screens on both the S8 Plus and S7 Edge are AMOLED displays, as you would expect from Samsung at this point, but with the S8 Plus, Samsung has gone to an 18.5:9 aspect ratio, which makes the screen narrower and taller, and is partly why it's more manageable in one hand. This also results in more pixels on the long side of the display, but it's still considered a Quad HD screen. From a hardware perspective, the camera on the S8 Plus is practically the same as the one on the S7 Edge. It's 12 megapixels with f1.7 aperture and the crazy fast dual pixel autofocus, but Samsung says there's been improvements made to the camera software and image processing, and the 8 megapixel front camera now features autofocus. The S8 Plus swaps out the micro USB port of the S7 Edge for USB Type-C, but other features remain intact like IP68 dust and water resistance, wireless charging, expandable storage, and you still have a headphone jack. Thank goodness. Now, although the phone got bigger, the battery on the other hand got smaller, but only slightly. It's now a 3500 mAh battery instead of the 3600 that was in the S7 Edge, which I doubt will make a significant difference, and after the Note 7 debacle, Samsung's most likely doing this to play it safe. The S8 Plus runs Android Nougat out of the box with a vastly improved user experience that's much cleaner and easier on the eyes over the what now feels outdated TouchWiz skin of the S7 Edge, but the big standout feature and trending smartphone feature is the S8 Plus's AI assistant called Bixby. It also has Google Assistant on board, but like many of Samsung's previous apps or features, this is meant to compete directly with Google's, and because it's Samsung's own AI, it's very heavily integrated into the software and core functions of the phone to change the way you interact with your device. There's even a dedicated hardware key on the side for quick access, and what we can only assume is designed to encourage us to use Bixby. As far as specs go, the S7 Edge has the Snapdragon 820 and 4 gigs of RAM, and with the S8 Plus being the newer device, it's obviously going to have newer specs. It's an octa-core processor with 4 gigs of RAM, and it's the world's first 10nm chipset according to Samsung. Samsung hasn't broken the news on the specifics of the processor just yet, but if history is any indication, it'll be the latest Snapdragon processor in the US and Exynos for the rest of the world. Even though this is an evolutionary update, the changes are rather significant, and the S8 Plus is shaping up to be a beast of a smartphone, so if you want to know more about the S8 Plus or the regular Galaxy S8, keep it tuned here to the Android Authority YouTube channel and check out the website androidauthority.com because we are your source for all things Android.